Ancient astronaut theorist Erich von Däniken has died at age 90. Paranormal researchers and enthusiasts remember his life and legacy. I'm Ryan Geckner, and I'm here with Chris Daly.
What does the CIA know about Three Eye Atlas? A recent FOIA request creates more questions than answers. Why are there so many people illegally collecting body parts in Pennsylvania? This is Beyond the Headlines.
As you may have heard, the father of ancient astronaut theory, Erich von Däniken, passed away this past Saturday. He leaves behind a tremendous legacy among those who question whether extraterrestrial life visited the Earth throughout prehistory. You may be familiar with his seminal 1968 work, Chariots of the Gods, which sold over 70 million copies among his full collection of 49 nonfiction books, as well as novels, youth books, CDs, DVDs. His writing was widely accessible to all kinds of audiences, not just academics, and that's part of what motivated its popularity. He also kind of wrote at a time when sci-fi was taking off and people were interested in things like UFOs in the middle of the century. Even though critics challenge many of his conclusions, lots of academic skepticism abounds related to ancient astronaut theory. This misses the broader significance of his contribution. He was not trying to provide the only possible answer. He just wanted to make people think critically and come up with new and intriguing answers. He wanted people to ask questions. And if you look at his official obituary, which we have linked in the show notes, he once said that if there really is a creator God before whom one stands after death, that God will surely ask whether one used their intellect during life to seek and find truth. And I think, in my opinion, regardless of what you think of his conclusions in ancient astronaut theory, which we both have opinions about, I think he lived that statement.
He did, and I think a lot of us should consider living that statement.
Yeah, yeah.
Asking questions is really important,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to seek out answers and find whatever truth might be out there. And it's really sad to see someone like him leave this world.
Yeah. Over the weekend, lots of folks who knew him were sharing their thoughts and feelings about his passing. For example, fellow Ancient Aliens contributor Jason Martell said on Instagram, quote, "I'm incredibly grateful for the many meaningful experiences we shared through the years. Eric's generosity of spirit, his courage to question the unknown, and his unwavering dedication to his work left an indelible mark on me and on countless others around the world." He is survived by his wife of 65 years, Elizabeth Skaha, their daughter, Cornelia, and two grandchildren.
Yeah, I have to say, for me, hearing about this was sad, obviously. It was impactful to me. Chariots of the Gods was one of the first things I read in this realm. It was back in high school. Yes, I had a teacher in high school in
That's so cool.
1991, mind you, who had us read Chariots of the Gods and watch videos of that. And if you take a look at our Substack, I actually did link out to one of those videos. They're older videos, but worth watching. So to me, seeing that was really impactful, and I'm sure it was for a lot of us.
Yeah, so go watch some Ancient Aliens and join us in remembering Erich von Däniken.
All right, so I'm going to get back to Three Eye Atlas
We're back.
because I have to. So, a response to a CIA FOIA request. So there were documents related. The request was about documents related to Three Eye Atlas. And this request is raising more questions than answers. It's about what the government knows or does not know. So John Greenwald Jr. of the Black Vault, and you may remember them from our Yankee Blue story, tweeted the response from the CIA. So the request was any assessments, reports, or communications maintained by the CIA referencing Three Eye Atlas or interstellar object 3I from June 1st of 2025 to the present. So what did the CIA say about this? They said the CIA can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records responsive to your request. The fact of the existence or non-existence of such records is itself currently and properly classified and is intelligence sources and methods information protected from disclosure by Section 6 of the CIA Act of 1949. Therefore, your request is denied pursuant to FOIA exemptions.
Oh man.
I don't even know what I just read.
A lot of stuff about existence and non-existence and all of that.
Yeah, so this does not
Instill confidence.
well, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Anyways.
But what's interesting about this is, you have all of these NASA scientists, you have all of these people saying, it's a comet, it's a comet, it's a comet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then why can't the CIA tell us if they even have any records talking about it? That's just absurd.
Well, and that's what our BFF Avi Loeb said on his Medium account.
That is correct. So this is a quote from his Medium account. That this information is treated as sensitive enough to be classified by the CIA is surprising, given that NASA officials stated decisively at a press conference on November 19th, which we have talked about, that 3I Atlas is definitely a comet of natural origin. If this conclusion was clear all along to everyone within government and academia, as NASA officials presented the case, then why would the CIA treat the possible existence of records dealing with a natural comet as sensitive enough to be classified? The simplest interpretation of the CIA response to the FOIA request is that some government officials wished to verify that 3I Atlas is not a black swan event. Under such circumstances, NASA officials were encouraged to deliver the likely scientific interpretation, while at the same time, the serious consideration of a black swan event by the CIA was hidden from public view in order to prevent panic from taking hold for no good reason. This is a wise policy for mitigating societal unrest or instability of financial markets at a time when the reality of a black swan event is still regarded as highly unlikely. In order to maintain the public's trust, the CIA would prefer not to raise a false alarm, like a shepherd who repeatedly shouted wolf. So when a real wolf came, no one believed him. The neither deny nor confirm response is the best way to keep the investigation of black swan events hidden from view. So that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, in order to understand that, I guess you need to know what a black swan event is.
Yeah, that would help.
So what is a black swan event? This was popularized by mathematician Nassim Nicholas Taleb as an event that is, one, so rare and outside the realm of expectations that it is unpredictable, and two, its consequences are extreme, either beneficial or catastrophic. So just for comparison purposes, some people, and I don't know if I agree with this or not.
There is some contention on this first one, for sure.
Some people have called COVID-19, the pandemic, and the 9/11 attacks black swan events. Again, not sure that I necessarily...
There's definitely some contention where COVID-19 is concerned, for sure.
So we're going to keep an eye on this, as always. Or I'm going to keep an eye on this.
And I'm going to follow along with everyone else.
Learn more about 3I Atlas as it goes. It is scheduled to make its next planetary pass in March as it comes closest to Jupiter. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so in March.
And maybe the CIA will then remember if they have any records.
Maybe. It's got to be great working for the CIA. You can just like be like, I don't know. I mean, am I working on that or am I not? I'm not really sure. What a time.
So tell me about the people collecting body parts in our home state.
This is bizarre. Over the last month, you've probably seen them because they've been all over the news. We've had not one, but two high-profile stories about the illegal body parts market in Pennsylvania. And initially, I wasn't really paying too close attention to it, but after the second story popped off this week, we were like, all right, we can't ignore this. There's a lot going on. So a little bit of backstory. Back in December, a guy by the name of Jeremy Pauley was sentenced by the Department of Justice to 6 years in prison after his admission that he participated in a multi-state network of buying and selling human body parts. Now, the guy and his wife owned a oddity shop in sort of southeast or south central PA, where it seems that they were selling some of these body parts, but they were also selling some on Facebook, and
they were using PayPal.
They were using PayPal to do the transactions, and I think that may be how the feds got onto them about it.
Yeah, if you're trying to hide something,
don't put them on the marketplace.
Right?
Just don't. Don't sell stolen body parts to begin with.
Please don't do that.
But let's start with if you're going to try and Anyway, so
what's even more disturbing to me is how they got some of these body parts.
So some of these remains were stolen from the Harvard Medical School. These are bodies that people had donated to Harvard Med to be used as teaching specimens, but also from a mortuary in Arkansas.
I mean, just stop for a second and think about that.
Yeah.
These are people who passed away thinking either that they just were being sent to a mortuary, their
Mm.
families are thinking they're sending their loved one to a mortuary, or someone who, before they died, said, I want my body to be used for
Mhm.
scientific study, and they send it off to Harvard Med, who you assume is going to do right
Right. Yeah.
by it.
Yeah.
So that's really just upsetting.
Yeah. And you can actually see a lot more about this story in a documentary that was put out by CBS 21, which is a CBS affiliate in Central PA, called Dealers of the Dead. It's linked in the show notes, and it actually talks to family members of people who donated their bodies to Harvard Med, and kind of how they've been dealing with this as well. And just the newest news on that case is he actually appealed just this past week. And so we'll see what happens with that case.
But didn't he plead guilty?
He did.
So
So
it's confusing.
I'm no legal expert. I wonder if it's one of two things, if it's the sentence, or because I know that it's not just the six-year prison sentence, there's also like 3 years of monitoring after that or something like that. But also I wonder, it seems like he is the only one that took the fall for this, and so I wonder if some of that may be at play in the appeal as well.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll keep
Yeah.
everybody updated on that too.
And so while this was going on, since early November, police have been investigating break-ins at the Mount Moriah Cemetery in the outskirts of Philadelphia. And this week, there was a major break in the case that led to the discovery of nearly 100 sets of human bones in the basement of a man by the name of Jonathan Gerlach. He was arrested, found with the crowbar he was using to open crypts and a sack of mummified remains in hand by the cops last week. And the one thing that's really important to note about Mount Moriah is that it's considered one of the largest abandoned burial grounds in the United States, actually. It's 160 acres and includes around 150,000 graves. And it's not well upkept. It's an old cemetery. And so that's probably how he was able to do this for so long. He reportedly directed police to different grave sites that he had raided. And when they went to his house, they found his basement full of remains and also jewelry. They found one of the sets of remains still had the pacemaker attached and like the whole nine. So this is a pretty gnarly case for sure. The Delaware County DA, Tanner Rouse, said, quote, given the enormity of what we're looking at and the sheer utter lack of reasonable explanation, it's difficult to say right now at this juncture exactly what took place. We're trying to figure it out. He's been charged with 100 counts each of abuse of a corpse and receiving stolen property, and additional accounts of desecrating a public monument, desecrating a venerated object, desecrating a historical burial place, burglary, trespassing, and theft. Gerlach has a preliminary hearing scheduled for January 20th, so next Tuesday, and we'll keep an eye out on this case and see where that goes. But to answer our opening question, I have no idea why there are so many people illegally stealing and selling human remains in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, this is having vibes of Ed Gein.
It's very weird. None of it seems good. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So we'll keep tabs on that. Hopefully that's all they will find.
Yeah,
More
hopefully.
people doing this.
Yeah. And we'll continue to follow the stories of the strange and the uncanny. This has been Headlines from the Beyond.